a mic and a bloodstained hatchet. These are my rhymes, they're full of depravity, drowning your ass like 2 scoops of gravity. So much despair, trauma and sadness, staring you down, face first in the madness. All my life was anger and pain, it emptied my brain, barely left me half sane. They said what a waste, they said what a shame, so it's time. I am exhausted. Today has been a long day. I was out shoveling snow, which I don't mind, but it was all ice. It all turned to ice, and it was hard as a rock, and it was horrible. And the only reason I was out there shoveling it all was because my doggy couldn't get around, because he was slipping and sliding. I was afraid he would get hurt, although he did kind of enjoy it a bit. But I was afraid he'd get hurt. And it's kind of hard to take a poop if you're a dog, if you're sliding everywhere. You know, every time you squat down and you're just about to go and you just go, wee, sliding down. So I almost didn't make it to the video blog today because of all the snow, because of the huge blizzard, because I was snowed in where my computer is. Okay. First things first, I have to mention, because he promised me scratch-offs, which I am addicted to. The promoter promised me he would buy me scratch-offs if I mentioned the shows I'll be working for him in March, on my video blog. He said, as I get off the airport, there would be scratch-offs in my hand. In fact, let me tell you a little story first about scratch-offs. I have scratch-offs from like every single state that I haven't cashed in yet. Because what happens is I'll go to the state and I'll play the scratch-offs. And of course I always win because it's a skill game, the scratch-offs. And, I like to play like the crossword puzzle-y ones. I don't like this, I usually don't like the ones where you just scratch off to see if you win because there's no game involved. And I used to like the bingo game, but that just kind of takes too long. So I like the crossword puzzles. Or the ones where you, whatever, doesn't matter. The treasury hunts, that's it. Not the treasury hunts. Yeah, you hunt for the treasury building. No, the treasure hunts, I like those too. But the thing is, like I said, it is a skill game. But when I play the things, so I'll end up like getting a bunch, and then I'll play them on the plane, and of course I win because I always win. And then now I come home and I got like 30, 50, $1 million worth of scratch offs that I have to cash in. Occasionally, because I know I'm not going back to that state or country, I'll have to mail them back, and then hope that the criminal bastards will mail me my money. But normally I eventually go back to the state and then cash them back in, and then I can play the new games on the money I just got. But anyway, so he said he would have scratch-offs for me, and his name's Steve Clark, and he's running a show, and it's prevented by, we're not going to have the show. It's presented by Rockstar Energy, Bud Light, and Full Throttle ATV. So this is going to be like a big show. Well, actually, it's going to be 3 big shows. 3. Man, I got some monster hands, don't I? Woo! You know what big hands mean? Big gloves. And you know what big gloves mean, don't you? Actually, I had a friend who had 5 penises and his pants fit like a glove. Anyway, March 4th, I'll be at the CL. See, I'm looking to the side. Has anybody noticed that this is a mirror image? Like everything is backwards in this, in my video blog. It's not actually shooting me like I'm facing the right way that I am. Like when I showed you last, my tattoo with my wedding date on it, all the numbers are backwards and the letters are backwards because, everything's backwards. Anyway, but I have to look over here where the information is. So, pay no attention to my wandering eye. March 4th, I'll be at the CLB Armory in St. John's, Newfoundland, which, for those who don't know where that is, it's in Canada, and it's in the middle of Nowheresville. Then the next night, I'll be in the Clarenville Event Center in Newfoundland, which, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Newfoundland is in the middle of nowhere. And then the next night, I'll be in Club 1, which also happens to be in Newfoundland, and as I've mentioned previously, and I'm sure you probably know by now, is actually in the middle of nowhere. I'd also like to thank a few people, just a few. Congrats to Chris for bidding and winning both shirts online, and Gabrielle's Piggy Toy from Rachel Baldwin at Sadie's Moon World, something or another. All right. There we go. Whatever. My wife's telling me I shouldn't have said something that I said, but it's too late now. I'm not making another copy of this. All right. What's that?
Gabriel was our dog's name.
Oh. Whatever. Shut up, wife. That was a funny joke my wife told me, but I can't repeat it because I'm too tired. Yeah, the reason I don't want to make another one of these copies is I've already made, this is like my eighth, I'm usually a one take person. It's like my eighth take, but it's not my fault. It's because you know how, like, if you're on the screen and you don't do anything with the cursor, and then after, I don't know, minute, 2 minutes, the page goes blank, and then the computer goes to sleep if you have a high quality Mac type product like I do, and the computer just goes to sleep and turns the screen blank. Well, that's what happened. And it kept cutting me off, the fucking prick. Every time the stupid screen would, I'd be talking and I'd go, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden it would just shut off. I'm like, son of a bitch. And then I had to start over like 8 times now. So I've really done like 80 minutes of this shit. And I'm really getting frustrated. You know what else frustrates me is the fact that whenever I got a call like an airline or a credit card company or anybody, and they always have it outsourced to some stupid Indian who has a horrendous accent, and then I can't understand a word. And I have nothing against Indians, because I love Indians. In fact, my old roommate was an Indian. One of my best friends in my entire life was an Indian. He was a Seminole, and I love Indians. But I have nothing against anybody. I don't like, I actually have something against everyone is actually more the truth. But either way, the fact is if you can't be understood by the general population, you should not be in a job where you are forced to speak to the general population. Now, I would never hire my mushmouth self to do a job like that, so I certainly wouldn't hire like somebody who would go, oh, let me tell you something. I would like to order a slushy, please. Mr. Levy, you must do this. I do not, yes, you must do that. See what I mean? Would you want to talk to that guy all day long and trying to argue with him and trying to schmooze him into, giving you stuff that you weren't supposed to get anyway? No, of course not. And they're much harder to schmooze too because they have such a serious attitude problem. I'm sorry. If there are any Hindus out there that are offended, well then, fuck you. Just kidding. No, but seriously though, it doesn't matter what race, nationality, creed, or color. And why would people from Creed be doing that job anyway? I mean, it's like, I know the band is bad, but whatever. But it's just anybody that can't be understood clearly should not be taking a job. Well, it's not their fault. It's the company's fault. They shouldn't hire people that can't speak clearly enough for everyone to understand them. I'm sorry about that, but that's the way I feel. Now, what does that have to do with wrestling? Well, I'll tell you. Absolutely nothing. In fact, what does any of this have to do with wrestling? Absolutely nothing. And you know why? Because I have no idea what you people want to hear me say or do. Or maybe I'll get some strings and be like a puppet. Honestly, send some feedback at the office at theraveneffect.com or Twitter it at the Raven Effect. But let me know. Do you want a Q&A? Do you want video footage? Do you want to hear me just going on stream of consciousness? Is there particular things you want me to discuss? Is there, do you want to see footage from comic conventions that I've been to? Do you want to see, I still have the first match me and Dreamer had since the ECW days, not the TNA one, but we had a match prior to that. Oh, yes, prior to that. And Northeast show, that was a really good show. And we had a really good match. I've all kinds of strange footage. I got all this cool footage from the Cauliflower Alley Club last year, but all of it just kind of sits in it sits on my computer because it's a pain in the ass to take all that shit apart and then edit it and then put it, to put it out there. So if you want to see stuff like that, I got a lot of that stuff. I mean, a lot of it. And I can put it in the DVDs or I can put it like online, but then I'd have to charge you like $1 or $5 a week to watch it, or $5 a month or I don't know, something like that. Enough to make it worth my while to go through the headache of, editing and going through it and all that shit because you can't just air it all. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was me readjusting my balls. That's right. If you could tell like that, that was me making a ball adjustment. But yeah, honestly, it's a bit of work, so you got to figure, I got to make a little bit of money on this or at least, make it worth my while. And not that you people don't deserve it because you don't, but, that's neither here nor there. All right. I think that's it for now. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. I'm tired. I'm cranky. There's an ice storm out there. And I have to go snuggle with my doggy. So, and now I will attempt to find the off button. I know. Ooh, God damn it. Ooh, I think I found it. Thirsty Bliss!